What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Pave the Way. We got a couple different topics we're going to throw at you today. We just kind of been talking and have some things that we want to talk about, and we're just going to see how it flows. But the main topic that we want to start off with is something that's near and dear to mine and Alex's heart, and something that Rob has a little bit different perspective on than we do. So I think it's really cool for you guys to kind of hear the diversity that we have there, because we're all doing, a lot of stuff in this world, and we have some different methods to do it. So I think it's really cool. And really what we want to talk about, you've heard me and Alex talk about it several times on our table talks, is how much we enjoy reading, consuming content, doing all this stuff. I've said it probably 20 times already on the show that readers are leaders, all these things that has truly made me the person I am today. And it's a big thing in my life. To Rob, though, he doesn't necessarily read books. He does consume information. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Rob is still developing himself. He's still going through self-development. He just doesn't use books or content in the same way that we do.
When I was a kid, I can literally remember, when you got in trouble in class or whatever, your punishment. The worst punishment to me was, you got to go read this book. And I remember looking at reading as reading sucks, because one, I was never really good at reading, and two, it was like a punishment thing for me. So as I got older and I wanted to get better at something, instead of reading a book about it like y'all do, which is, if it works for you, read the book all day long. But for me, it was I'd rather go on YouTube. I'd rather go find, we talked about, a mentor, somebody that knows about that. And I'd rather hear it from them versus trying to comprehend it and read it. Because to me, it's maybe it's my, how high strung I am and my attention span is so crap. But if I try to read something, I'll be 4 or 5 paragraphs in and I'm just off in space. I'm not taking in anything that I'm reading. So for me, it's better to go watch a video on how to do it and hear somebody else talk about how to do it. But with that being said, I agree with y'all. I think reading is great. And I think for a lot of people, that's what works. But for me, it's just a little different. To me, it's more of man, I know if I read this, I'm not going to be able to focus on what I'm doing and take in what it's saying.
And some people are visual learners, and some people are auditory.
I'm a hands-on kind of guy.
I listen to books and I read them, but my counter to that, if we're having a counter, is basically you can take a man like Benjamin Franklin, and just read his autobiography and get a perspective of a guy that literally changed our world.
Oh yeah.
Or any of these people that are Abraham Lincoln, anybody that's old that's never going to be here again. You can read their stuff and get an insight to make your own life better.
Yeah. And I would also say that for me, I'm what Rob said, how he feels about reading, that's exactly how I felt up until I was probably 21. I would literally say I can't comprehend it, especially to my teachers in high school. I can't read, I just can't do it. I have ADHD, all these things. And I'm not saying this is Rob's scenario, but those were just all excuses that I was making. Because if somebody had a gun to my head and said, you have to comprehend this book and I'm going to test you on it, I would probably make an A. So it's all limiting beliefs is what was killing me from wanting to be a really good reader. And what I've learned is, and we just read a book, again, talking about reading, but Lead for God's Sake. And in that book, it talked about, there was essentially, not to ruin it, but there was a janitor and a coach, and the janitor was advising the coach. And when the coach went in the janitor's room, his office at the school, there was books from wall to wall in the janitor's office. He's like, man, you must really love to read. And the janitor said, I don't necessarily love reading, but I love what reading does to me. I love what it does to my brain, and I love what it does to the world that I live in, because it makes me see things differently. It gives me a different perspective. So that was a big part of that book of why I love it. And I'm not even hating on Rob.
Yeah,
because Rob is super successful, and there's so many successful people that have never read a book. So I just love the open conversation, because I think everybody learns different. Everybody has a different perspective on how they consume information.
Yeah. I like what you were saying, though. It's almost like your happy place. That's what you need, that time reading to kind of settle down and just take it in, And I've got things I do, like hunting, where you can sit there and you just look around at God's creation, and you're mesmerized about everything going on outside and in the woods. So to me, it's I find the joy in that somebody like y'all or someone like y'all find in reading books.
That's right.
You learn a lot when you're just sitting there.
Yeah, I really think you should read books while you're in the deer stand.
I actually tried that. Last year, I took my Bible with me, and I was like, I'm going to read my Bible, man. I'll be able to read for hours in the deer stand. and like you're got a page and you like hear a crack of a squirrel and you're like, and then where was I? And then it's like, oh, there's another crack. So it's like it wasn't as easy as I thought. Plus the papers made a lot of noise when the wind was blowing.
Yeah, Bible, that's tough to take into the woods, but I love it. I love where your head's at.
I tried.
But we'd love to know kind of y'all's thoughts on this. Like, are you guys big readers? Do you enjoy reading? And was that a process? Because I think so many people, especially that we've hired, there's a lot of people, if you just interviewed 10 people, probably half of them are going to say, man, I just can't comprehend reading. And
I'd say most people don't read. Most people don't read.
Well, that's what I was going to say too, is like, if you hang out with a bunch of readers, the chances are you might be a better reader or might like reading. But like, exception of y'all two, I don't have a buddy that I know that's like, bro, I'm going to go home and read this book. I love reading. None of my friends really read books.
That's so interesting.
And that's real.
I know, it's so true.
So it's like, and again, that's not a knock towards, I'm not trying to say my way's right.
Are you calling us nerds?
No, I'm not saying my way's right or y'all's way's right. I'm just saying, like, that's not something that I'm used to doing because nobody I hang with really does it other than y'all.
Yeah.
So it's kind of how I feel.
I could go on and on about how it's changed my life. I started reading when I was like 4 or something. I really don't have all that high school and all that stuff.
Well, you don't really count my eyes because you were like really good in school, pretty smart, went to college. Brent's kind of on my level. So
yeah. I mean,
but the books have helped me, tremendously, honestly. Not even kidding. The stats on how many books CEOs read really blew me away, because I want to be a CEO. I want to run multiple companies. I want to literally be able to know what those people know, because it's not easy running businesses. It's really not easy knowing how to, perfect the tax code, how to do all these things. And man, you've got people who have done it, who had literally, they'll hand you the game plan of their life for $15 on Amazon. Yeah. So it's just so hard for me to turn that knowledge away when I'm trying to be that.
It's like a map or a guide. I mean, it's like, you do gain through experience. Like when I have an experience, I learn from it, I become who I'm supposed to be, all that. But like, I can accelerate my knowledge by reading people's books. Like I've read books about Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan that just give you a better attitude about trying to win in your environment. I've read books about, people that are loaded and started a business and how they succeeded, like Tony Robbins for motivation. Like
what about this Hicks and Gracie book we're reading right now?
Hicks and Gracie, he's had a biography. It's a dude, he was like the first UFC champion ever. And Brent showed me his record today, and it was 450-0.
It's crazy.
And he just fought jiu-jitsu.
And just to hear from his Gracie background of, if you know anything about MMA, they literally changed the whole game. So anyway, I think we could talk, like Alex said, for hours and hours about how we love reading. But we just wanted to kind of talk about Rob's perspective, because if you're not a reader, that doesn't mean you're going to be a failure. No. Rob does a lot of successful things in his life, and he doesn't necessarily consume information the way that we do, and vice versa. And I think that's really cool that there's way different ways to go about doing things.
Makes for a good team too, if you're, you know what I mean? Because like I'm a hands-on. I would almost rather go out and fail at something, and that's how I get my education on what to do the next time around, hands-on.
But we're going to continue on trying to get Rob to be a reader. That's our ultimate goal,
no doubt,
as business partners. So we'd love to hear from y'all. What do y'all think on that? And the next topic that I kind of want to talk about is we kind of wanted to do a little bit of talk about marketing. Which is kind of a weird way to.
It's one of the biggest parts of your business.
That's right.
It's one of the things we're most known for, especially with the insurance agency starting, was like.
That's right.
Our banger videos. We're getting ready to make one, and that's.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, that was kind of like Rob said, what we became known for in the very beginning was we were doing. I think you have to get creative with your marketing in today's world. So we were doing very creative videos that you wouldn't necessarily see a normal insurance company do. So trying to make people laugh, trying to make it fun.
Yeah.
And that was just our strategy, but I think there's so many marketing strategies. I just think it's so critical in today's world that you're marketing your business. So Alex, I'd like to ask you, what do you think today is one of the biggest marketing avenues, and how do you think it's helped us in our business growth and where we're going?
Yeah. Like he said, there's different marketing platforms for each different type of business. Everyone has their niche. Everyone has different things going on. And kind of what we wanted to do was take something extremely boring, insurance, kind of like the big Geicos and everything, State Farm, you see it on TV, but just kind of make them our own variation of fun, because we thought, if we can make something fun, people may engage with us more than other people. And so the strategies that we've kind of used, everyone wants me to say that social media is the biggest one. I mean, it is, man.
Yeah,
It
Facebook
is.
That's
in
what I was-
particular
It's
for
like-
I
us.
knew you would say that. when I
Social
asked you.
media is easily our largest thing, you know, our largest lead source, our largest everything. And it's, you know, what we don't understand about when people don't use it is that it's free. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, if your parents give you the phone. You can use social media for free. So like, why not just try to plug into it? And even honestly, like before all these business endeavors, like I barely used my social media, you know, and I'm still not to where I want to be with everything planned out weekly. That's kind of the strategy we're working on, is getting ourselves even better at social media over the
really
next,
optimizing it.
you know, just ramping up production in it. Like we've been in business long enough now to where we should be focusing on content creation more than anything. That's just where we're at. But social media is just one way of doing things. Like if you're a person that's going to utilize social media a little bit, you can still do in-person networking meetings. There's all kinds of referral groups, these meetups, all kinds of places to meet people. You can literally just go sit at a grocery store, and I bet you could meet 10 people a day if you could build up the courage to talk to them.
That's right.
Because I mean, I've just been there. I could talk about that too.
And it's just so critical that you're doing all of it, in my opinion. Like, to some degree, you need to be doing social media. You need to be getting out into the world and meeting people. You need to be
until you find the one that works for you. I agree. Like if you're a business owner and you don't have all these things, or at least are testing and trying things until you find the system that works for your business, then you're making a mistake.
That's right.
But if you're just one salesperson, if you can get all your leads generated, if you can make $10,000 a month from leads off of Facebook only, then I mean, just get even better at Facebook every day, or maybe take some of your money and invest it into Google ads.
And just go look at Rob's Facebook. Like,
just copy what I do on there.
It's kind of like the reading thing. Like, we love to read, and Rob punks us out on social media, which is a great thing because we're part of a team.
And it also motivates us.
There's not many people in the state of Georgia that post on social media as much as Rob does about insurance and the house.
And you all know a guy that's doing it. You all know a car salesman, a person that owns a business. You all know that guy doing it.
The keto girls or whatever.
Yeah, the pyramid schemes, the multi-level marketing, they're all doing it too. And you may want to hate them, but like, let me tell you from this side, like it actually works.
I respect the people I see doing that. It's changed. I've changed my whole thought process, because what do you think holds people back from putting themselves on social media?
I think they automatically have fear, and then they think that people that they're like socializing with on the online care so much more. Like they basically think they care so much about them, but really, I mean, dude,
they're gonna be haters regardless.
It's a scroll, bro. It's like sometimes I look at a picture, sometimes I like it, but I mean, it's like 1/2 of a second of my life.
That's right.
Well, the way I feel about that too is like if somebody sees something I post and they think, God, this dude posts every day, he gets on my last nerve. Like they're probably going to think that about me regardless. Like I'd much rather them think that about me, but
and
me
then have
making
10,000 people
versus
that do like it.
Them hating on me and I have no money.
That's right.
So they're going to hate
either
way.
Which is the alternative to not posting, because
you're not going to have any money if you don't post. And
that's right.
When it comes to posting, like so many people try to like post the same thing, or they'll try 2 or 3 different things that don't work. They fail at it. It's like I change it up. I post one day. I'll post about how I was able to save this person X amount of dollars, because some people, the dollar sign is what registers with them. This person, I'll put, hey, I signed up a boat, because they may have a boat and the boat may register with them. Well, then the next day it could be, hey, I quoted 18 people today for free. They may think, oh, I'd like a quote. It's just, you've got to be very,
you got to switch it up. You got to be versatile, and you got to basically reach out. I mean,
and
the biggest thing is consistency. I think consistency is so critical with anything that you're doing marketing wise, because what you want, the effect that you want to have on people. And Rob is a great example of this. 3 years into our insurance business in our county, if somebody posts looking for an insurance quote, there's probably 5 to 6. If there's 20 comments, probably 5 of them say Rob Johnson. Like, who do I get an insurance quote for? I see it every day. He gets tagged, 3-4 times in every single post like that in our local community. Why is that? Because when people see insurance, what do they think of? This insurance agent that's posted 3 times this week. It's just naturally happens in their mind. It's guerrilla marketing. For, it's really good example of that, is like people see it. And then when they hear somebody needing an insurance quote, real estate, whatever it may be, whatever you do, they should think about you when they hear somebody looking for that service.
Yeah.
And one thing I do, and I try to get all of our guys to do, and this was just something that worked for me. It may work for you, but I made it a goal when we started in 2012 or 2020. I think I had like I mean, I had like 2,600 friends on Facebook, which is a lot to the average person anyways, but I wanted to make a goal to try to friend like 20 to 30 people a day. And then eventually it maxed out at 5,000 because that's all that Facebook will let you have. But with me doing that, it was adding new people every day that would potentially see my post versus the same 2,500 that were going to see it. And now something that's cool that started happening is I'll get deleted or blocked or unfriended from 15 to 20 people a month who are probably tired of seeing my stuff, but that gives me space to friend 15 people who might care about my post.
Absolutely.
So it's
how many deals have you got from people that you didn't even really know on Facebook?
Hundreds of deals. And that's what's so cool about marketing with the videos, in my opinion, is, again, people get tired of seeing posts about, you say, Tracy, $40 or whatever it might be. But if you post a really epic video that's cool, funny, they're going to share that. They may not care nothing about sharing your post about saving this person money, but that video is sick and they think it's cool, so they want to share it. So again, it's another way that we marketed ourselves outside of just making posts.
Yes.
Yeah. And that doesn't even go into marketing via like calling people. I mean, we're doing sales all day. We call people. Yeah. We have guys that our team is calling people all day long, every day.
Yeah, running commercial ads, even in this podcast, our commercials are ads that we run. I mean, that's just another marketing.
And marketing is so critical to any business. I don't care what you're trying to do. Dude. I don't care, anything that even if it's a team, like marketing is just massive with the church. Anything that you're doing and you want to get people involved and you want to get people on your team and you want to get people supporting you, it's so critical of what marketing message you're putting out there to the world.
If you have money problems, you probably have a marketing problem.
It's so true.
Like if you have a money problem in your business, maybe it's a training problem, maybe it's, there are all kinds of problems to have, but it's probably a marketing problem. Or if your marketing improved, it would probably fix where you're at.
Yeah, you want your business to grow, go get a bunch of Google reviews. You know what I mean? That'll grow your business.
And one thing I would ask you guys, this is just a random question. None of this is scripted, by the way. We're just asking on the spot. But what would you guys say to somebody who says, I don't really have the money to market right now? Like, I don't have the money to go on social media and boost my post for $100. Like, I don't have the ability.
I just told you how to do it for free.
I would tell them to try to friend 10 to 20 people a week on your Facebook that cost $0. The cool thing about it is, you can go look for the people that you'll appeal to. Like with us doing insurance, I try to go in there and find people around my age or a little older that have a family that would be good customers for the insurance agency, and I can friend them. If you're trying to sell, what's another example of something you could sell?
Houses.
Yeah, if you're trying to sell houses, then go friend a bunch of people that are in their 20s to 30s who are going to be looking to buy houses. Like, you control who you can friend. It's free, and you can friend endless people. So start friending them now, and then that way when you're making those posts here the next 2 or 3 months, those are people that are going to see them.
That's great.
So that's what I would tell them. It's free.
And after you've spent 2 hours of your time doing all you can on your Facebook and LinkedIn and maxing it out, then I would ask you, how many people have you talked to today?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I can't market. I suck. I have no money. Well, did you call or message anyone today? And how many? Like, if you think 50 people's a lot, like, I'm laughing at you.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have to get out of your comfort zone in all of this.
Yes.
Something that has been so critical to what we do is literally constantly getting out of our comfort zone. Doing this podcast. Now it's in our comfort zone, but a couple months ago it was not.
Correct.
Like, it's so true that you have to keep stretching yourself.
We didn't just wake up and like say, hey, today's that day, we're going to start it. Let's go buy the gear. We took like 6 months to plan this thing.
Look back at our videos in 2020 and like, you can tell how much more awkward we were.
It's so true.
On camera compared to now, because now we're used to it because it's just something we've done so much.
That's exactly right. So that question, I'm going to answer my own question that I asked, like, get comfortable with getting uncomfortable. And everybody in their mama is carrying around a phone that has a really capable video camera on their phone.
Yeah.
So you can literally video yourself talking about whatever product you're trying to sell to the world. Rob just gave you perfect advice on how to target people specifically through your social media platform, and get in front of the camera and just talk about, hey, today, guys, I'm selling ice and I want everybody to come buy it. Whatever your product is.
Yeah.
Just let the world know that you're doing it. So many people fail and people don't even know that they were selling that product.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy thing, is that they don't put themselves out there.
Something that multiple guests that we've had on this show have said was they got some kind of brochure or business card and they went and put them out. And I can say, back when I was doing car detailing a few years ago, I went and had business cards made up. It was like $100. I got a whole sleeve of them. Well, every gas station I went in, every restaurant I went, anywhere you could put a card, even if you really wasn't supposed to put a card, I put a card. And I haven't done that. I think I actually quit doing that in 2017. So it's been like 5-6 years ago. And I still get calls once or twice a month where people are finding those cards that I put out. Well, that was $100 investment. And 5 years from, 5 years later, I'm still getting a random lead about it. So it's like, there's so many cheap ways to market yourself. If you don't want to get out there, if you don't want to make a poster, you're nervous about it, go buy $100 worth of business cards and put them on every corner, every store, every restaurant.
Out there.
And if you're afraid to make a Facebook post, go knock on someone's door.
You might be more afraid of that.
You might be more afraid of that. Then you'll take a picture of yourself and say that's a good time.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing that I want to say in this is the world that we live in today. We're so fortunate, because think about how hard it was to really market back in the day. You didn't have a social media platform. You didn't have all this stuff.
Especially if you're not a book reader,
That's exactly right. That's a great point, Rob. I'd like to talk more about that, but we don't have time today. But essentially, whatever you're trying to do, are you really committed? Are you really committed to your success? Because if you are, it's not going to be like pulling teeth to get you to post on social media. It's not going to, that's what we tell our guys every day. Are you serious about being successful in this business? Then why aren't you doing these things? Because if you're really serious about it, these are the steps and the things that you need to do. It's not rocket science. It's just, are you truly committed? Are you just interested in the lifestyle that this might bring? Are you just interested in maybe making some good money? Are you really committed? That's where you want to get, where you're really committed to your marketing plan, where you're really committed to putting yourself out there. And ultimately, over time, you're going to see the effect of that. You're going to see the ROI of constantly putting yourself out there. Time and time again, there's weeks I know where I don't want to post. There's weeks where Rob don't want to post, but we've been ramping up our posting, and it's crazy how many people in public are just like, man, I love that video.
What a great post. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you post, we've ran into this, me and Brent have, like, even when we didn't really know 100% what we were doing, getting into the house flips, but we were posting every week, people instantly think you know what you're doing. Like, if I posted every day that I was a chef on Facebook for the next 2 months.
You do cook pretty good.
I do cook good, but people would be commenting and texting like, hey, you need a chef, call Rob.
Chef Rob.
Like, you can convince people on social media that you're good at anything if you just post about how good you are at it.
That's right.
You don't really have to be that good.
And I want to add, like, where you're at in life, it's a summary of your habits, your disciplines, and your desires, because your habits and disciplines are where it's going to lead you toward your desire. And where you're at is basically a summary of those things. And so if you want to get, we want to talk about building these habits through reading books. If you want to do these disciplines, like, what I'm trying to say is, Brent mentioned discipline, and discipline is easy when it's something you really want to grow into.
That's right.
Discipline is easy when it's something you really want to achieve. Discipline's easy when you sit down the excuses and say, I want to get here. Okay? So when you do these disciplines, your life will change. Like, if you start working out, if you start reading books, whatever your discipline you're trying to do is, getting a better night's sleep. Like, I know guys that have been getting 5 hours of sleep since we were like 16. I'm very worried about how they'll be in the future. Like,
that's not good.
I just don't know how that's going to end up.
It's not sustainable, I don't think.
So, but the disciplines, when you actually want to do it, you'll set the excuses down and you'll go for it.
And discipline's an interesting word, because sometimes you say discipline and it's like you're getting punished. But then I love discipline.
I love it.
So it's kind of one of those weird words that people are like, I don't want to wake up early. I don't want to read a book. I don't want to go to the gym. But that lack of discipline, what I see most of the time, if you lack discipline in going to the gym,
there's always an excuse right after that.
That's right.
I don't want to go to the gym because.
That's right. If you lack discipline and I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, most of the time, those people, their whole life lacks discipline. Their room's a mess. They never make their bed. Their sink's full of dirty dishes. This is bad. It's like, it's so funny how that happens, is most of the time when people are not disciplined, their whole life is not disciplined. So I've become obsessed with being disciplined, holding myself to a different standard, because I do have big dreams. I do have big goals. And I think a lot of our listeners have those same goals. So our biggest dream and our biggest hope is that we can help you guys get to that next level quicker than it took us to get there. And the only thing I can tell you is, get obsessed with constantly improving yourself.
And once you see the results, you're going to get obsessed. Like,
that's right.
You're going to, you know, if it's, for example, reading a book, you're going to read 3 books and think about how much you learned and how you applied the things and all that, and you're going to become obsessed with it. Well, if you didn't like the books, well, then you're going to start working out, and you know, the working out is going to make you feel so good. You're going to see changes. You're going to become obsessed with that. Become obsessed with getting better, and the results will continue to drive you there.
You're going to go from not wanting to make those Facebook posts, but you do it anyways, to like, oh my God, I
got 10 leads.
I got to go on there and make a post today, because
That's exactly
how I'm
right.
going to get my business.
And our kids that work for us, we call them our kids. They're literally like little kids. We love them. They're like family to us. But
they're in their 20s. They're not kids, but
yeah, they're kind of kids. But for years, or for a year, we would always joke with Rob and the kids, the young ones would be like, Facebook don't work for us. And we finally like, have you really tried it? And then when they really started trying it, now every single week, what are they getting?
Leads.
Facebook.
Carson
leads.
came in there this morning and it's like, dude, I got a lead from somewhere you'll never expect. I was like, let me guess, Facebook. He's like, yep.
So they're starting to see. So it doesn't matter, like those examples we're giving you, these are 19 and 20-year-old kids who they're Christian school, they don't have a huge network, but Facebook is working for them too. So you don't have to have this huge network that everybody thinks that Rob already had a huge network built in. That's why it works for him. That's not true, guys.
And again, it goes back, you know, I bet I've heard them say 100 times when we were trying to beat that into their head about Facebook that, well, nobody our age, nobody in their early 20s is really looking for insurance. But the thing about it is, again, if you're friending random people every day, you go out and find the people that you want it to appeal to.
That's right.
So don't go friend all these people your age at 20 years old. Go friend people that are 20, 30, 40, 50, 60.
Be targeted in your prospecting. That's right.
That's not a good excuse in my book. Like,
no.
And we talked about social media marketing and, you know, getting in front of people and all that. And we didn't even talk about event marketing.
Yeah.
Because you can go to events and just meet people that are at a specific event for a specific reason, and it'll be just more targeted meeting, and you can definitely get leads that way as well. That takes a little more money.
That's right.
So.
That's exactly right. But man, I feel good. Do y'all have anything else you want to talk about?
No.
Man, we just hope y'all are just getting better every day. We hope these videos help you. We just really wanted to talk. We think marketing and for us, the books that we've read and the development avenues that he's taken has really helped our success. So we just kind of wanted to share that with you today.
The books are part of our self-development, and the marketing is how has continued to develop our business over the years.
So we love you. Thank you so much.